I remember back in the day, it was always like, well, make sure, ask somebody out and then be very clear about your intentions. And that's important. But it's almost like it's gotten 100 times worse in the last few years.
Yeah.
Where it's like everything is just gray area.
Yeah.
Everything is just kind of in limbo.
Yeah.
And when it works out, great. But 99% of the time, it doesn't work out. And then the person on either side who gets left out is like, well, wait a second.
Yeah.
And then the other person's like, well, you never said anything. And they're like, I was waiting for you to say something.
That's right.
And then it just goes back and forth.
And then it's happening in a church. And now he's a worship leader and she's on the, volunteer.
That never happens, Annie.
Oh, it doesn't. Weird. That maybe is just Nashville centric. That may be a Nashville only problem.
No, Austin
that it's
doesn't
people in
struggle
the
with
same
that.
community.
Yeah.
I think people are more afraid to pursue things as well inside community, even though that's where when we did a survey of Single Purpose League and we said, do you feel like the church takes care of you? Over 60% said no. And then we said, where do you want to meet somebody? Top 3 places all had to do with church. You're like, weird. The place you feel least cared for is the place you want to meet someone. And it's also where we're afraid to do it because we don't want to mess up. So we don't want things to get awkward at church.
I just had that conversation yesterday.
I'm sure.
With
on
somebody.
a Sunday for everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a Sunday as two key leaders.
Yeah.
And the guy was like, should I ask? I don't want to mess it up. It's like, yeah, why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you? Why are we so, what does mess it up mean?
Yeah.
Why? It's like we've put so much pressure on this
Yeah.
that even telling somebody, hey, I have feelings for you is now like social suicide in the church.
Right.
Because suddenly it's kind of like a supply and demand problem. Nobody's asking people out. So now there's less supply. So there's a greater demand, which means there's way more pressure on that demand. And so one person does it and all of a sudden 100 people hear about it and they're all whispering about it.
Yep.
And that's why you feel like you have to figure it out. Like, are we going to get married before we finish our Americano?
Yeah. Right.
And it's like if we could just
you're so right,
take
Ryan.
the air out of the balloon. I'm turning into like the dating guy now.
I know.
all of a sudden.
I didn't mean for us to do
No,
that.
it's
I didn't
great.
mean for us to do that.
But it's like we need to take the air out of the balloon. It's so overinflated that like one wrong word or one wrong move and it's done.